Good morning, Jiu Jitsu nerds. I am being joined by Jed Hue, and he's going to be competing again for Polaris, and it's going to be November 2nd. You're taking on a pretty tough test in Keith Krikorian. You just got done with training here, and now getting to talk with me, so thank you so much. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. Looking forward to the match. Can't wait for it.
So, who is Jed Hue out of Jiu Jitsu? I feel like you're probably a pretty fun guy, or is it just like you're so focused on Jiu Jitsu, all you have right now is
Um,
routine and nothing else? You can't be bothered.
I like to have fun too, of course, like anyone else. But a lot of it is just focused on training because there's so many comps coming up, worlds coming up, Polaris coming up. So I've got to be quite focused on what I'm doing. But if it's like off season, I'm not competing for a while, then it's good to have fun too.
And you have so much experience with Polaris. You've done team matches, super fights, and you are the person with the most appearances and the most wins for Polaris. So, how has this promotion really helped you grow as a competitor?
Yeah, it's been really good. I started on the show as a purple belt, right? With lower end matches, which is like a start for anyone, right? And then as time went on, I started winning and winning and winning, and they gave me bigger and bigger matches. So for sure, it's definitely helped my profile, and they give me the best matches in the world, so I can't complain. And yeah, it's probably the best. It's definitely the best show I've ever competed on.
And you definitely love jujitsu because you were someone that had a pretty crazy injury in competition, had to take 2 years off recovering from it. And a lot of people would just say they're done with jujitsu after having such a crazy injury like that. Uh, would you say that your process in getting back into jujitsu was the hardest part of your journey, or have you had harder moments since then?
Um, since training jiu-jitsu, I'd probably say that has been the hardest point. I've had a few injuries regardless, but that was the one where I really couldn't train for a while. And I kind of just stepped away from jiu-jitsu for a long time, and it was kind of hard to get back in. But once I was back in again, it was super easy. But I definitely say was probably the hardest period since training.
And I know I listened to a old podcast. This was like a 2020 podcast, and I guess there was an incident that went on with a crazy heel hook that a guy wouldn't tap, and it got kind of put online. And this is when things go viral, people start going crazy. So, what would you say has changed since then? Like, I remember you said like I regret putting on the submission 110%, but I feel like today with how much jujitsu has evolutionized, people would just say like, "Oh, well, your legs in a leg lock, you should have tapped." So I feel like people are more on your side, especially with the way people have accepted leg locks as part of the game now. But I remember since then, like, how has your personality and view towards jujitsu and locking in those submissions changed at all?
I think it mainly comes down to who I'm competing against. So, for example, if I'm competing against the best guys in the world, I don't really have the chance to let them tap. I have to put on as hard as I can. But when it comes to like lower end competitions with guys that maybe aren't as good and maybe more like hobbyist than professional, I think I take my time a lot more than I would with someone like Keith, for example. If I catch Keith, I have to put it on really hard because I know he's not going to want to tap. But at the same time, if I'm competing like a local tournament, I'm not gonna smash a guy's leg through as well. So I feel like that's been the biggest difference. Before it was more like if they cheat me, I'm just gonna put the submission on. But now I feel like I've matured a bit more, and I'm not really trying to win at all costs, unless it's the biggest matches in the world. If it's like a local tournament, I don't really care too much.
And all of these Polaris matches are preparing you for whatever your next big goals are. What are your biggest goals of 2025?
Um, Definitely trying to compete on Polaris as much as possible. They always give me really good matches. Definitely trying to win ADCC trials. Potentially doing a CJI if that's gonna happen again. I'd like to start winning some IBJJF majors as well, Euros, Pans, Worlds. So just trying to win as many titles in as many organizations as possible, but only the top tier ones. So ADCC, IBJJF, CJI, and just loads of matches on Polaris.
And how did you get involved with Polaris? Like, when did you first meet Matt, or was it someone else that got you connected?
So I won the first ever Polaris contenders. They ran a tournament to put on the winner of each division into a prelims match on Polaris. So I applied for it as a purple belt, not really thinking I was going to get on, and they accepted me. So I was pretty happy about that. I was the only purple belt in division of mainly brown and black belts. And then I subbed two brown belts and a black belt, won it all subs, and then won my shot on Polaris. I won a 16-man division. No, 8-man division. I won an 8-man division, and there was another guy called Sylvie who won another 8-man division, and then we fought on Polaris in the prelims, and then I've just been building up since then.
Wow. And so, what was going through your head when you're just a purple belt and you're going up against guys who are higher ranks than you? Like, what is it about your personality that wanted to take on that challenge?
I always like a challenge. I don't really want to compete against guys that I should be beating. I want to compete against guys that have a good chance to beat me too. I feel like that's how you kind of solidify yourself as the best. And as a purple belt, if I got a challenge against brown and black belts, for sure I'm going to take it. And it wasn't just the opportunity to compete against brown and black belts, but if I won this, I'm on Polaris. So for me as a white belt watching Polaris, that was like a big goal of mine to eventually get onto the show. And when my opportunity finally came, I was like, I'm taking this and it's mine. And yeah, it's just been working since then.
In terms of representing the UK and putting on this and being put on this platform, what has it been like for you to be there, see how much it's grown?
It's been really good. Like I haven't been there from the beginning. I think I was on from like Polaris like 12. I mean, like I said, I was watching it a lot as a white belt. So I watched all the Keenan matches, Gary Tonans, my old coach as well, Ross Nichols was on there quite often as well. And yeah, the show's just gone from strength to strength, bringing in more and more talents in jiu-jitsu, more and more talents in MMA, and bringing some of the best matches in the world, as well as putting on good cash prizes for athletes as well. And athletes are paid pretty well to compete, which is nice as well. So yeah, Polaris is doing a great job.
And is there anyone on this upcoming card, Polaris 30, that you are friends with, that you're going to be, not, I know you're going to be focused on your own fight, but is there anyone on the card that you're going to be rooting for?
Yeah, I have some people that I know that are on the prelims competing. I need to double check the main card as well, but I've always know someone that's on there. So the guys that I know I'll be rooting for.
And how is like a Polaris fight week for you? Like, what is the energy like? I've never been to one.
In terms of training or the event.
I guess in terms of just what like a fight week will look like for you, like in terms of like media and the event and
Well, just leading up to Polaris, like the week of Polaris, is just super light training. At that point, it's just kind of going through the motion of the game plan, what I'm trying to do. Sweating off the last couple of kilos that I'll be cutting for weight. In terms of when it gets to like Thursday, Friday, when it's like media stuff, so I'll get there Thursday evening, sleep because media's quite early, and then I'll get weighed in Friday morning, straight to media stuff. We'll take pictures, we'll do interviews, stuff like that, like sign posters. But yeah, it's a very, very professional event, and it's really cool to do an event like this where it makes you feel like you're a professional as well. You're not just stepping into a sports hall and fighting, like you're going in, you're getting weighed in, you're getting your pictures taken, you're signing posters, you're doing videos, they're making content for it. Like it's really cool, and it makes you feel like an actual professional as well, which is nice.
and in your last appearance with Polaris, you took on the first Costa Ricense in Julian Espinoza, and you wanted to showcase some of the wrestling skills because before you were really, I guess even now though, you're always looking for the joint locks and you were more of an arm lock, joint lock guy instead of chokes. Do you still feel like that is kind of defines how your game is, or would you say that your game has definitely changed a little bit and you're looking to do different things?
Yeah, for sure. My game's changed a lot in the last couple of years. I've been very guard based, arm bars, leg locks, and I feel like there was a big hole in my game in my stand up, big hole in my game, my passing. So I've been working a lot on that as well. And ideally for me, I'd like to show some of that in competition. If not, I'm more than happy to play bottom position. But if I get top position, I'm pretty confident that I can pass most people right now. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm feeling good.
What do you think about Keith's game and how you guys match up stylistically?
I think it's gonna be a really good match. Keith is very, very attacking, very, very good in the legs, very, very good back attacks. He's relentless. He's constantly on the attack as well, which is what I like. I don't like matches where people are gonna be backing out. I like when people are coming forward. I think Keith is a great competitor. I've met him a couple of times as well. Great person, and I'm looking forward to the match. I think it's gonna be really fun.
And you're coming off of a competition. Tell me how that went for you and if there was anything that you wanted to work on from the experience recently.
Yeah, so I just did the Nogi IBJJF Europeans. Unfortunately, didn't win it. I come third. Had a couple of good matches. I got stopped in the semi-finals 2-0. I definitely think that strategically I could be a lot better with it as well. I'm still kind of learning to make that shift from like sub-only ADCC to like IBJJF as well. So it's still something that I'm working on. But overall, not completely dissatisfied. I still medaled in the division with a lot of good guys. I didn't like get smoked or anything. I lost 2-0 to the guy who won, who's also very, very good as well. So there's just minor adjustments to be made to win gold next time.
And so, just so I kind of get it right in my head, when you were banned for a month or not allowed to compete, was it IBJJF that did that?
No, that was my coaches.
Oh, your coaches banned you from doing that. Oh my gosh. And are they
Yeah.
still your coaches today?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. Now I
We,
understand
we
more. Because
we're
I was
okay there.
like,
Like we have no bad blood or anything.
yeah.
I just kind of started doing my own thing when COVID hit. Like no one was training anyway, and then I started my own team, and then I've just gone from there.
Wow. I mean, the ability to start your own team really says about the type of energy that you have, though, because to get other people to come with you and want to learn with you, be your training partner, says a lot about your, I guess, magnetic energy and leadership. Do you have people that are currently on your team that will be at Polaris?
I have no students competing on this one. A couple of them were meant to be on it, but for some reason the matches didn't work out. But they will definitely be on the next one, hopefully. I have a lot of students coming to support, so they'll be in the crowd regardless. But I'd definitely like to get a few of them on for the next show, as the team has been absolutely destroying everyone locally. And we went to the Europeans as well, and we brought back 4 medals as well: 2 silvers, 2 bronzes, 5 medals, sorry, and a gold. So it would be nice to get these guys on because they're proven it on locally by beating everyone. And they're going to Europeans fighting international talent and medaling and beating most of the best ones as well. Many first seeds were taken out by our guys as well. So the favourite division lost to our guys. So I feel like they deserve their shot on Polaris.
How do you think the European Jiu Jitsu scene has elevated its game over the years?
It's definitely increased massively. I still think obviously Europe is still behind Brazil, America overall, but I don't think that will be a case for in the next 5, 10 years. European Jiu-Jitsu has massively increased over even the last 5, 10 years now. We have a lot of talent in Europe. And I think over the next few years, that's going to be proven.
Sure, you've come across Fionn Davis at some point in your career. Are you guys friends at all, or do you guys kind of, talk about the European Jiu Jitsu scene, or you don't know her at all?
I've met her a couple of times. I see her at the last Europeans. We had a little conversation there. I wouldn't say we're friends, but we've talked a couple of times. I haven't really discussed anything about European Jiu-Jitsu, but she seems like a nice girl.
Yes, and she's someone that has always been very outspoken about fighter pay, and she's been able to make her self known not only through her skill but also standing up for what she feels is right with everything. So I know that you were probably sitting on the computer eating your popcorn when all the ADCC versus CJI drama was going down. What
For
was your
sure.
opinion on all of that, all of the drama going on?
I love it. I love the drama, and I think it's only going to be beneficial for the grappling scene. I don't think it's going to be negative in any way. I think there needs to be rivaling promotions to be battling out to get the best athletes on their show, to be paying athletes what they're worth as well. So I'm really happy with CJI coming around. I think it's great that Craig's doing this. I think it's great for Jiu-Jitsu in general, and I think it's even great for ADCC as well because now they have to actually support the athletes competing in their show, not just prioritize fans. Like they want a good show, but they don't want to pay the people who are putting the show on. And I feel like CGI now is going to change that and actually make ADCC grow from this.
And with ADCC being one of your goals, um, was there ever some pressure on you to like get on the good side of a guy like Mo because he's the guy kind of making those decisions? And what was your reaction when you found out that he stepped down?
Um, I don't really think about that too much, to be honest with you. Like, regardless if he likes me or doesn't like me, if I win trials, I'm in ADCC. Unless I'm breaking any rules, it doesn't matter how much you like me or dislike me. If I win the trials, I'm in the division anyway. Kind of surprised that he stepped down, I guess, because he was talking about ADCC 2025 or 2026, whenever the next one is. So, kind of surprised that he stepped down, but I guess Craig has that effect on people.
I mean, what do you think the future is for who comes into that position?
Yeah, I still feel like ADCC has its name, has its prestige regardless. So someone else will take it over and just continue ADCC. I'm not sure if it'll be better or worse, but I don't really see it getting worse. So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see who steps into that position. People are like, let's have Craig do it. Let's have Craig. I'm like, also, I think for the storyline, it could be better for it not to be
Of course.
Craig,
Maybe the job for Gordon. We'll see.
right? It might be the job for Gordon. Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
I think that makes a lot more sense.
But you got your black belt under not only your coach but also a friend in Ross Nichols. When you got that black belt, how did things change for you, if at all?
I don't think things really changed much for me because even as a brown belt, I was still competing on Polaris, still fighting some of the best guys in the world. I think it was probably just better for my marketing as an instructor and running a business. So I feel like it definitely helps with that side of things. But as a competitor, it doesn't make any difference. It was just like a personal achievement as well.
What have you learned about being a business owner and running a gym with students and having that responsibility?
It's tough. It's tough, especially when you're trying to balance being an athlete and a coach as well. I feel like if it was just one or the other, I think it would be easier for me. But I think having to balance being an athlete and also running a business while coaching a team and helping them get to that level as well is quite difficult. But there's nothing else I'd rather be doing.
And so, if you're an athlete, a coach, do you have a manager that helps, negotiate your stuff and helps your media and all that, or do you handle all that stuff as well?
Nah, yeah, I just handle all that stuff myself, to be honest. I'm pretty good with negotiations, so usually my career gets managed relatively well by myself. But if I feel like I need one day, I wouldn't mind getting a manager. But I'll do a pretty good job on my own.
Yeah, you're definitely managing and juggling all those different hats. It does get overwhelming to a point. Do you feel like with your career, being able to push yourself on social media has helped you get opportunities, or do you think that's an area that you are still looking to improve on? Like, what is your take
Yeah,
on how social media has been able to kind of push people into the spotlight for a lot of different
social media
promotions?
definitely helps for sure. I feel like I really lack in that area. I don't think I push myself much on social media, to be honest with you. It's something that I want to definitely work on for the future. But yeah, I don't really do much on social media. I need to do much more, much more
Well, we'll definitely get some content at Polaris coming up
for
on
sure.
site. That's why I'm happy I'm talking to everyone before because I want to get creative ideas going
Yeah,
when the time comes. So, how is the weather over there right now? How should I be packing?
this is England. England is not a place you come for holidays, I'll tell you that much. So definitely pack warm. You might get a little bit of sun for 5 minutes, then it's gonna rain for half an hour, then it's gonna snow for 5 minutes, then it's gonna be sunny for 10 minutes, then it's gonna rain for an hour. So like you need to be prepared for all weathers, but mainly pack for cold.
And what part were you born in?
Right, London.
Okay, and you've lived there your whole life?
Not my whole life, but I'd say most of it. Most of it.
Would you say it's because you have like family and different stuff keeping you there, or do you just like that area and you like your routine there?
I was just here, obviously born and raised here, training here, and then I ended up starting my own team. So that's kind of what keeps me here now. If I didn't have my own team, I would probably move to America to go and train.
Wow.
But because I have things set up here and I've put a few things up, put some like seeds down where things are going to grow now, it doesn't really make much sense for me to leave now. But who knows what the future holds? 5, 10 years from now, things can be different. But for now, I need to kind of keep building on what I've been building. Yeah, for sure.
when it when it comes to other aspects of the jiu-jitsu athlete lifestyle, who else has been able to kind of support you, whether it's like teammates or sponsors or anyone?
Yeah, I've had a lot of sponsors throughout training jiu-jitsu that have helped me a lot. I was with Choke Fightwear, I was with Rain, Progress, latest Tatami as well. So I've had a lot of support from sponsors helping push my career. Family, semi-supportive, I guess. Some of them support, some of them don't. They don't understand why I want to roll around with sweaty men every day, so they don't really get it too much. Mum kind of supports me, so that's nice. But I have a very, very supportive team around me, which is really nice. It's not something I used to have before, but now since starting my own team and the team that I've built, we've built a very, very supportive team.
And when it comes to Saturday, November 2nd, and you're taking on Keith Krikorian, what is going to be your main focus for that match?
Submission,
Hunting the submission.
submission for sure.
I love
I would
that.
like
Well,
to kind
Jed,
of, I would like to compete against him just to kind of see. I know roughly where my level's at, and we've had a little roll before, nothing serious, just like a flow roll. and I believe he's got very, very good jiu-jitsu. But I feel like I can definitely get the submission, just like he could submit me as well. He's super high level. But it would be nice to see kind of how we positionally do as well. So it's gonna be a good challenge.
And what do you like better, having a super fight like this or doing something like a team event?
Oof. I do like super fights. I do like super fights, but there's something about team events that's really, really fun. I've done a couple of them now with Polaris, and it's definitely something I like to do again. I've only done it a couple of times compared to like 20, 30 odd super fights by now. But in terms of the energy that's brought and the kind of adrenaline you get, I feel like team events are more exciting. So maybe I would slightly prefer them, but I do love super fights too.
And have you seen the PGF at all?
I've seen little bits of it. Yeah, I haven't watched too much of it, but I've seen like highlights and whatnot.
What are your thoughts on, having a regular season, which is 3 matches a day, 4 days a week, and then with those matches, you're getting points, and if you are one of the top 8 point scorers, you go into the playoffs for a bracket on Friday for the playoffs. Like, do you think that's too much? Like, what is your take on that season?
Honestly, I think it's too much. I think that's a lot of matches. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun. It would for sure be an experience, but I don't think that would be my ideal format of competing. Like 3 matches over 4 days and then the bracket on Friday. That's a lot of matches. Like for you to win that division, that's looking like what, 15, 20 matches?
15, yeah.
That's a lot of matches. Like the most I've had in a day is maybe like 10, and that's tiring. So doing like 15 over like 4 days, like you might get injured on the first day, and then you got to go on the second day now and compete injured. You might get injured again and go into the third day even more injured. So I feel like these things play a huge part. So I don't think it would be ideal for me personally, but it's definitely something I would try just for the experience.
Yeah, yeah. I know like PJ and Andy went into it just like seeing what they would get out of it and being able to like last that long and that durability. Um, and I remember someone comparing it to The Ultimate Fighter when it comes to the drama and the reality show aspect because they'll put the guys in an Airbnb and they got a group chat and they're just going crazy. But I find it interesting because when you initially got into jujitsu, you kind of did it more with the mindset of getting into MMA. So now do you train like striking at all or do you just like completely focus on jujitsu?
Yeah, since my focus has changed to just purely grappling, it's all I really focus on. I do still enjoy striking. I do it now and again, but not too often because jiu-jitsu essentially is my focus now. I'd rather focus my time on what I'm actually pursuing. But
Are
I
you
do
an
love MMA. I do watch MMA very, very often, and I
I was
have
gonna
have
say,
considered still doing it, but not for now. We'll see.
are you excited for the fights this weekend?
Yes, I can't wait.
I love
Very
that.
excited. Very excited.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. No, I feel like a big reason why a lot of people get into or got into jujitsu is because of MMA, and then they realize that they just get like obsessed with jujitsu. So it's such a beautiful thing that
Yeah.
that's what you realized. But if there's anyone, any sponsors or any shout outs that you want to give to any projects that you have coming up for the rest of the year, let the audience know. The floor is yours.
I've no particular shout outs that I can think of right now. Just thanks to Polaris again for giving me another match against another world level guy. I'll get the job done, put me in the next Polaris. Thanks to my team, thanks to everyone that supports me, and yeah, that's about it.